All the world's a stage, and all the men and women merely players. They have their exits and their entrances, and one zombie in his time plays many parts. His acts being 7 ages. At first, the infant, mewling and puking in the nurse's arms, and then the whining schoolboy, with his shining morning face, creeping like snail unwillingly to school. And then the lover, sighing like furnace with a woeful ballad made to his mistress' eyebrow. And then the soldier, full of strange oaths and bearded like the pard, jealous in honor, sudden and quick in quarrel, seeking the bubble reputation, even in the cannon's mouth. And then the justice, and fair round belly, and good capon lined, with eyes severe and beard a formal cut, full of wise saws and modern instances. And so he plays his part. The 6th age shifts into the lean and slippered pantaloon, with spectacles on nose and pouch on side, his youthful hose well saved, a world too wide for his shrunk shank, and his big manly voice turning again toward childish treble, pipes and whistles in his sound. Last scene of all that ends this strange, eventful history is second childishness and mere oblivion. Sans teeth, sans eyes, sans taste, sans everything.
My mistress with a monster is in love. Near to her close and desecrated bower, while in her dull and sleeping hour, a crew of patches, rude mechanicals, that work for bread upon Hades' stalls, were met together to rehearse a play intended for great Theseus' nuptial day. The shallowest thick skin of that barren sort, who Pyramus presented in their sport, forsook his scene and entered in a break, when I did him at his advantage take. Brains. And ass's knoll I fixed it on his head, anon his Thisbe must be answered. And forth my mimic comes, when they him spy, as wild geese that creeping fowler eye, or russet-pated chops, many and sort, rising and cawing at the gun's report, sever themselves and madly sweep the sky. So at his sight, away his fellows fly, and at our stamp, here or an or one falls. A murder cries, and help from Athens calls. Help, help, help. Help. Help from Athens calls! From briars and thorns at their pale snatch, some sleeves, some hats, from yielders all things catch. I led them on in this distracted fear. And left the sweet Pyramus translated there. When in that moment, so it came to pass, Titania waked and straightway loved a bloody ass.
Oh, she doth teach the torches to burn bright. Did my heart love till now, forswear its sight? For I ne'er saw true beauty till this night. If I profane with decomposed hand this holy shrine, a gentle fine as this, my lips. Two rotting pilgrims ready stand to smooth that rough touch with a tender kiss.
Good zombie, you do wrong your hand too much, which monsterly devotion shows in this. For saints have hands that zombies' hands do touch, and palm to palm is holy palmer's kiss.
Well, have not saints lips and holy palmers too?
Zombie lips that they must use in prayer.
Then, dear saint, let lips do what hands do. They pray, grant thou, lest faith turn to despair. Come here.
Then have my lips the sin that they have took?
Sin from thy lips? Oh, trespass sweetly urged, give me my sin again. Oh, yeah. Thank you, thank you. Of comfort no man speak. Let's talk of graves, of worms and epitaphs. Make dust our paper, and with rainy eyes write sorrow on the bosom of the earth. Let's choose executors and talk of wills, and yet not so. For what can we bequeath save our decomposed bodies to the ground? Our lands, our lives, and all are overrun, and nothing can we call our own but death, and that small model of the barren earth which serves as paste and cover to our bones. For God's sake, let us sit upon the ground and tell sad stories of the death of kings, how some have decomposed, some slain in war, some eaten by the hosts that have arose, some poisoned by their wives, some sleeping killed, all murdered. For within the hollow crown that rounds the mortal temples of a king keeps death his court. And there the antic sits, scoffing his state and grinning at his pomp, allowing him a breath, a little scene to monarchize, be feared and kill with looks. And humored thus, comes at the last, and with a little bite, bores through his castle wall, and farewell, king. Cover your heads, and mock not flesh and blood with solemn reverence. Throw away respect, tradition, form, and ceremonious duty, for you have but mistook me all this while. I live with brains like you. Feel want, taste grief, need friends. Subjected thus, how can you say to me, I am a king?
Even as one heat another heat expels, or as one nail by strength drives out the other, so the remembrance of my zombie love is by a newer object quite forgotten. Hello. Is it mine or Frankenstein's praise? Her true perfection or my false transgression that makes me reasonless to reason thus? She is fair. And so is Julia that I love. That I did love. For now my love is rot, which, like a human, ripped apart by zombies, bears no impression to the thing it was. Methinks my zeal for Frankenstein is cold, and that I love him not as I was wont. Oh, but I love his lady too much, and that's the reason I love him so little. How shall I gnaw on her with more advice, that thus without advice begin to love her? 'Tis but her picture I have yet beheld, and that hath dazzled my zombie brain. But when I bite her sweet and living flesh, there is no reason, but I'll bite again. Thank you, thank you.
To be or not to be? That is the question. Whether 'tis nobler in the brain to suffer the slings and arrows of outrageous fortune, or to take arms against a sea of zombie hunters. Take arms and oppose them, or to take arms against a sea of troubles and oppose them. My zombie brain. To die. To sleep no more. Am I asleep to say we end the heartaches and the 1,000 natural shocks that flesh is heir to? 'Tis a consummation devoutly to be wished, to die, to sleep, perchance to dream. There's the rub. For in that sleep of death, what dreams may come when we have shuffled off this mortal coil must give us pause. There's the respect that makes calamity of so long life. For who would bear the whips and scorns of time, the oppressor's wrong, the proud man's contumely, the pangs of despised love, the insolence of office, the law's delay, and the patient merit of the unworthy takes when he himself might his quietus make with a bare bodkin? Who would fardels bear to grunt and sweat under a weary life, but that the dread of something after death? The undiscovered country from whose bourne no traveler returns puzzles the will and makes us rather bear those ills we have than fly to others we know not of. Thus conscience does make cowards of us all, and thus the native hue of resolution is sicklied o'er with the pale cast of thought, and enterprises of great pitch and moment with this regard, their currents turn awry and lose the name of action. Thank you.
We zombies have offended. Think but this,
And all is mended.
that you have but slumbered here, while we zombies sit here. And this weak and idle theme, no more yielding, but a scream.
Give us your praise if we be friends.
And zombies shall restore. Amen. Thank you.